This is Dr. Ed Hoskins welcoming you to Lessons in Discipleship, a series designed to help new believers become established in the Christian faith. This is Lesson 21, Financial Wisdom. Let me tell you first a little about myself. I'm a retired physician. I spent 34 years in family medicine and student health. I became a Christian 50 years ago and was helped early in my faith by the Navigators, an international, non-denominational Christian organization whose goal is to know Christ and to make him known. I have been on associate staff with that organization since 1980. Lessons in Discipleship is a compilation of what I've learned from the Bible and under the guidance of the Navigators during that time. What I learned then, I now pass on to you. Today's session, Financial Wisdom. First, all our possessions and wealth belong to God. We are only stewards. It means they don't belong to us, they belong to someone else. 1 Timothy writes, "Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, and to be generous and willing to share." 1 Corinthians written, "Now it is required that those who have been given a trust as a steward must prove faithful." Well, the Bible gives us very specific instructions what to do with money. It tells us how to earn it, how to spend it, how to save it, how to invest it, how to give it away, and how to enjoy it. Proverbs 10 says, "He who gathers crops in summer is a wise son." It also says about spending money, "The wages of the righteous bring them life." How to save it? Proverbs 6, "Go to the ant, it stores its provisions in summer." Proverbs 12, how to invest it. "He who works his land will have abundant food." It also tells us how to give it away. Proverbs 3, it says, "Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your crops." It also tells us how to enjoy money. 1 Timothy 6 says, "God who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment." But there are some things to avoid. We are told to avoid dishonest gain. Proverbs 11, it says, "Ill-gotten treasures are of no value." What about surety? That's making money with excessive interest. Proverbs 11 says, "He who puts up security for another person will surely suffer." We call this surety. Another word modern that we use is called co-signing for loans. The Bible just says don't do it. It's a bad idea. How about loaning or borrowing money? Proverbs 22:7 says, "The rich rule over the poor and the borrower is servant to the lender." It doesn't say not to do it, but it says it urges real caution in doing it. Another thing that we should avoid are get rich quick schemes. Proverbs 28, it says, "One eager to get rich will not go unpunished." Avoid usury. Proverbs 28 says, "He who increases his wealth by exorbitant interest amasses it from another." Here are a few practical suggestions that me and my wife have found over the last 50 years. First, use a budget. Since we were first married 46 years ago, we have followed what we call the 70-30 model. In other words, we've learned to live off 70% of our income, and then we have used 10% off the top, 10% to give, 10% to save, 10% for discretionary saving. These are unplanned expenses, which always occur. And then we've learned to live off the remaining 70%. What if you find you can't live off the remaining 70%? It means that your budget needs to be reworked and reevaluated. Oftentimes people are putting too much on in another area, such as an excessive home that they really could not have and should not afford. Here's another caveat, another warning. It says that we've learned is don't loan money to other people. Even family tends to destroy relationships. Doesn't say that you can't do it. You should just be very cautious to do it. One practice we've done is if asked for money, usually we'll give it to someone if we can afford to do it. If we can't afford to give it, and we actually say that we can't do it. Here's another practical suggestion. Don't borrow money for anything that depreciates in value with time. Depreciates means something that 2 months from now is worth less than when you first bought it. cars, boats, etc., fit into this type of a category. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Only do it when absolutely necessary. But in general, it's better to, if you're going to borrow money, and it's better not to borrow money at all. But if you have to, do it for something that 2 months from now is worth more than it is right now. Here's some other practical advice. Have only 1 or 2 credit cards. It's almost impossible to live today without at least 1 credit card. Most people need it at least for buying gas to put in your car. Another thought on credit cards: only charge with a credit card what you're able to pay off completely at the end of each month. One of my doctor friends, has been in terrible financial distress, owing like $700 or $800 or even $1,000 a month just in credit card interest. This is really exorbitant. That credit card interest, what you pay in interest is huge, sometimes 20% or more of the actual cost. Here's a thought too: if you're paying off a house mortgage, if you do have to borrow money to get into a house, incidentally, houses tend to appreciate. They tend to get more valuable with time. Plan on paying a little bit extra for the house payment each month. Try $100 to $150 extra each month. This should bring a 30-year mortgage down to about 15 years. We tried that years ago, and it allowed us to pay our house off twice as fast. Whenever possible, get out of all debt as soon as possible. What you don't owe to someone, they can't take away from you in general. Finally, a bit of wisdom: be willing to live on a lower scale. We've lived by this little ditty for many years. Use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. Some of the things that we do is you don't always have to shop at the top stores. We still occasionally shop at Goodwill. Let's summarize what we've learned in this brief presentation. First, money is a gift from God. It's okay to enjoy it. Godliness with contentment is great gain, 1 Timothy 6:6. Third, stewardship. All our money and possessions belong to God. It's not ours. It is God's, and we simply ask Him what He wants us to do with His money. Another thought on summary is: money is not the root of all evil. Some people think that money is the root of all evil. It's not. 1 Timothy 6 said it's the love of money is the root of all evil. Well, we will see you next time when we cover lesson 22 of Lessons in Discipleship, when our topic will be a biblical model of marriage. Well, that wraps up today's presentation. Thanks for coming and being a part. Till we see you next time, keep following Jesus. He's worth it.